So this Diesel Fool We the People News, something new here. I thought it'd be interesting to check out. I'm not an attorney, don't care to be an attorney. Everything on here is just a learning video to just kind of check out for the outside forces, right? Because you never just want to look straight forward. You always want to look around you for the outside forces may want to commit harm upon you, and they do. Alright, so again, we must try everything in our wheel, like I said, you know, inalienable rights, right? But also in our liberty, we have a right to protect ourselves by any means necessary, right? So, if we have a right to protect ourselves by any means necessary, well, look at the definition. It means any way necessary,
Texas,
right?
Other states seem to have
So,
less.
why don't you guys have a little look-see at this and listen to it very carefully, because it is kind of hard to see, right? Or hear. So let's check it out. And it's going to be a fairly long video, y'all.
Take a look at how we write a criminal complaint. This is going to be in Texas. Other states seem to have less they're more flexible. You can write them in any kind of format. But Texas has a certain few things about it, so let's do this Texas one. This is a Word document that I'm going to copy and paste into here as we go. This gray part is going to get replaced. This is a jurat at the bottom is going to be, because it's sworn, it needs to be a sworn statement. So you have a few little bits at the top and at the bottom that makes it into a sworn statement. And this last line here is how I do my document IDs to try to keep track of documents so that you can really correlate what you're seeing printed. You can reference back to which document is this on my computer. Anyway, let's start with the criminal complaint. First off, you have to build up your timeline. I like to call it a crime line, because the people who are committing crimes, you're going to feel it in your gut. Something's wrong, but you don't know exactly what's wrong. So just write it out. Write down what happened. And put dates on each event. Transcribe your recordings. You're going to have things that you record, and you need to listen to them, type in what it says, or have somebody else officially transcribe it if you like to, but you need to get that written out. Now, you know the fact set. You know what happened. So read through the crimes and find your crimes, like what your local. I'm looking at the Texas Penal Code, and I have found in here that there's a Texas Penal Code 37.10 that fits with what happened. Let me tell you what happened so that you can sort of join into the context. I was a court watcher, and I saw a man who was making an attempt to put a statement of his. He was the accused. He was trying to make a statement and get his statement onto the official court record. The judge refused to allow this man to speak. And then the judge went ahead and proceeded to make a decision without that part of the record. He prevented that from being part of the record. So, there are a lot of different ways we can spin this and say that it's this crime, it's that crime. There are a lot of different crimes that guy did. And I'm picking this particular one, tampering with a governmental record, because it's a felony. And some things are different severities. And if it's a felony, I'm required to report it. It's my civic duty. If I don't report it, I could be in trouble for complicity with a felony. Well, I wouldn't want that. I don't want any part of being a criminal, so I'm just going to go ahead and report this judge for his felony. I see here a tampering with a governmental record, and it's in the Texas Penal Code, section 37.10. Well, so what I've done is just copy and paste. It's really simple. Copy and paste the text of the crime. I see what fits, and I just go right here and paste it in. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to begin to cut out the pieces that don't matter. Like, for example, right here it says a person commits an offense if he 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it says 4 here, or 6. So we need to pick which one or two of these apply. I don't think that the 2 applies. 5 and 6, maybe 4. I'm going to go with 1 and 3. So the next thing we're going to do is end up chopping this up, and it's going to get really short as we say, here are the pieces that are left. He did this and this. Now we've got, you're going to need who, what, when, and where in here. We've got the what when we went through the penal code. And we're going to need to add to this who. Who did this? Well, that judge's name was Kyle Hawthorne. So he's going to be the one that we establish here as the defendant in this crime I'm reporting. And we turn this around into this exact same language that we see in the penal code. Like, he knowingly made a false statement, a false alteration of a governmental record. Well, right here, take a look back here at the offense as we see it. All I did was took this and turned it into past tense. Knowingly makes a false entry in or false alteration of the governmental record. Well, I don't think he made a false entry. All he did was he altered the record by preventing this man from speaking. If this man had been able to speak, the governmental record would have included his statement. And he did not allow the accused to speak. He actually threatened this man, which is another crime. We'll get to that one. But right now I'm reporting this one about the governmental record. He knowingly made, so just change this into past tense, a false alteration of a governmental record. So that's how we got to this one. We just said that, and then the same thing for this. He intentionally, that's actually a key word there. Don't just skip over that in your mind. That's important. You have to mention that when you're laying out the crime. It's important. If intentionally is part of the definition of the crime, then you have to put that in the accusation. Because it might have been an accident. Let's say that the judge, there was a problem with the audio system and the judge just didn't hear it. Or he's an older guy and he has trouble hearing, and maybe the accused was speaking really low with a low voice and it was difficult and the judge just didn't realize it. Or the court recorder missed it because it was practically a whisper. That wouldn't be intentional. The judge will not have committed a crime if that were the case. But in this case, it was very clear to me, sitting in the gallery, it was extremely clear that that was the intent and a loud, firm intent of the judge, that he was going to prevent that man from getting his words on the record. Well, so that's a crime. So we go ahead and mention it's intentionally that he did this. And I noticed that there's a little loophole here. It's not a crime. Let's go back to the penal code and take a look. It is not a crime. Let's see, here it is right here. It's not a crime if the record that was being destroyed is a certain one of these records over here. Well, I went and took a look at those. Just to shorten up your time watching this video, I'll just be really clear, just quick about it. These are far from applying. They don't apply. It's something about the lieutenant governor, something about some state library. There's a retention schedule if it were a certain number of years, and he deleted it and it was a good time for deleting it. He didn't have to keep it that long. This is totally not going to apply. However, we need to say in the criminal complaint that it's not one of those. That way, the criminal complaint is standalone. Anybody can look at this criminal complaint and say, what's being alleged really is a crime. And this piece right here goes to the penal code where it says an offense is a Class A misdemeanor unless his intent is to defraud or harm. In that case, it's a felony. And we also have a felony down here under the D, subsection D and 3. since it's also a felony of the second degree if his intent is to defraud or harm. So we're going to go with this right here, defraud or harm, but we've got to mention that defrauding and harming is his intent. So that's what that's in here for. Now, we've got this part. This is the crime. This is a statement that, as a whole, says all the pieces that are, or elements, they call them essential elements. It's all laid out there. This is the crime as it is codified. Well, now we need to start applying our fact set to support this declaration. So these here are facts that I know the fact set. You know your fact set. You're going to take this, and it's going to look very similar for you, but you'll have a completely different fact set here that goes to support that. So a criminally accused man was in open court. The accused was in a court of record. An accused has the constitutionally protected right to be heard. The accused had brought a threshold issue before the court. Hawthorne made it clear he did not want to hear the threshold issue. Hawthorne intentionally prevented the accused from being heard. I watched all of this unfolding. It was pretty surprising to me to see that a judge would be really that brazen in blocking the statement of an accused. So that's what happened. So I lay out these points here, and then we move on from there. In any criminal complaint, you need to also add a date and a location. So we're going to put that on there. We're going to say on or about when this happened and where it happened within the territorial limits of the county of Brazos, Texas. So that extends our sentence a little bit on the codification, but you have to say who, what, when, and where. So here's the when, here's the where. You can use a specific date if you can. If you can't, just be as specific as possible. And it's common to say on or about. And you can approximate if necessary. And in America, you need to specify the county. Territories are, the territorial jurisdiction is broken up by county, and there's a lot of things that key off of that. So go ahead and make sure you specify the county. If you're not sure about the city, this particular one was in a little cluster called City of, there's a Bryan and a College Station, and they're both right together. And I don't know or care which one it is. I'm not going to put it in there. If I get it wrong, they can invalidate the criminal complaint. All I need is the county, so I'm going to go ahead and say it's the county of Brazos. And finally, we need to wrap it all up with an affidavit bow. We need to say, at the beginning, Texas has this particular way that it needs to start out saying, in the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, and at the very end, it needs to say, against the peace and dignity of the state. Well, you don't have to, but I incorporated this requisite phrase right here into a sentence, and I made it say, so defendant's actions violated this, and it was not only against that man, the man I was watching, but also, and then here's the requisite phrase that you have to end your criminal complaint with. Like I said, most states are not that picky. You could phrase it in a little, however different way you want, but if you phrase it like this, it'll work. So there we have it, and I've got a little thing for the affiant to sign. Now, all of this that we've done so far is just pure text. Let's go back over to our Word document and put these pieces in the Word document. In the Word document. I'm going to put the name of the person here. Let's go Kyle Hawthorne. And hereinafter, we're going to call him Hawthorne and defendant. And say the crime he committed. And we're going to put the details of what he did. Start this here and say, place all of this with text that we have. From the honor about all the way down to against the peace and dignity of the state. I don't know how a state has dignity, but that's what they require it to say. All the way against, yeah. Okay, we'll do a little cleanup here so that it all fits nicely. Defendant knowingly made a false alteration. These. Alright, that tightens it up pretty well. We're still not quite fitting on one page. That would sure be nice since it's part of the jurat. You don't want to cut the jurat in half here. And put the jurat is the part where the notary public is going to sign. And so it doesn't really work to have that chopped into 2 pages. Let's see if I can tighten this up just a little bit. This is what, 11 points. Let's go for 2.5. Alright. So now this is ready for signing, and we will sign it in front of a notary public. So this is ready. I'm just going to go ahead and print this now. We're finished with the criminal complaint.
Okay, so this is Diesel for We the People News. Think what you think. I thought it was interesting. So y'all have a check out on this and see what you guys think. Alrighty. Once again, I don't never look straight forward. I always look around me for the outside forces may want to commit harm upon me. Now, on this video, what I'm gathering was there's actually a witness there. And he witnessed, well, you heard what he witnessed, right? So maybe he's doing this for the benefit of the gentleman, guy or man, alright? Or maybe because he was a witness to it, he decided to do it on his own. Once again, y'all, I don't know how exactly all that works, but everybody and anybody can do this without an attorney. Is to be able to figure out how to do it is the issue, right? Because there's always remedies. Where is the remedies? How to write the remedies is the issue that most of men and women have problems to deal with, right? The inexperience these situations, right? So thought it was interesting. This is Diesel for We the People News, and never look straight forward. Always look around you, for the outside forces may want to commit harm upon you, and this was a learning video. Alrighty, until next time, Diesel for We the People News. Bye, y'all.